So, with Chapter 4, Season 1 coming to an end roughly 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, I don't know, it's not much longer from now, I figured I would get my little season review out of the way. I want to let you know at the time of recording this, we are still going through the most wanted little event thingy majig. I did make a video on that if you want to go ahead and take a look at that. It's just kind of praising it because it really did fix a lot of my issues with this season, which I am going to dive into. I'm going to be a little more critical this time around. I'm going to kind of give my thought processes on this season as a whole and why I feel like my opinion on this season has been extremely mixed. I don't know where to place this season on a tier list per se, because I don't think it's like a mid-tier season in the slightest, but I also don't think it's like a really outstandingly phenomenal season either. It did change a lot for Fortnite, like going forward. It's a great new direction for the game, but I just genuinely don't have a solid opinion on this season that I can really think of, but I can give my general thoughts on it. And I can kind of give it a little ranking just because I feel like by the end of this video, I might have an idea on as to where I might put the season. So let's get into it. Chapter 4, Season 1 started after what I would consider to be one of the worst Fortnite events we've ever had, Fracture, which is still disappointing because generally speaking, I thought Season 4 from Chapter 3 was a great season, but also generally speaking, Fracture was just, it was just really bittersweet, and I was really upset that it had even happened in the first place. It felt like it's something that we weren't supposed to get, but it's something we got. Like there was some sort of decision that was made behind the scenes or something like that. I don't know. Fracture was not very good. But Chapter 4, Season 1, at the start of the season, looked really promising. I feel like the loot pool this time around, they kind of did this thing in Chapter 3, where they kind of remade the entire loot pool from the ground up. They made some new weapons, they made some new looking ones, they didn't really have any old weapons in the game at all. However, they had guns that functionally worked very similar to older weapons, whilst also generally speaking being different enough that you could consider them new weapons, like the striker pump and the auto shotgun. However, the difference between that and this is that the Thunder and the Maven Auto actually function pretty well, all things considered. Especially in Zero Build, I've noticed a lot of people really do just run the Auto, which is not surprising considering it's like the Auto Shotgun, but it kind of just feels better to shoot. I don't know what it is about it, but the reload is faster, it feels better to use. The big issue with this gun is that it is underpowered. I feel like it's just really weak. It doesn't do enough damage, and in general, I find myself using the Thunder a little more, though recently I have noticed myself using the Maven in Zero Build, so I don't know. It's just a preference thing, I guess, at the end of the day. It's not the worst shotgun in the game, obviously. We also did get the heavy shotgun returning to the game, like the Chapter 3 version, which I'm still really mixed on that weapon. It's not bad. It can be really good in certain situations, but I always found myself using that in the build mode as opposed to Zero Build, where I would typically find myself using both the Thunder and the Maven. So I don't really know where my opinion stands on the heavy other than it can be fun, but in some situations it's just not ideal. It's not very accurate, I guess is a great way of putting it. We also got the Scar and the Burst Rifle back in this season. Pretty cool to see them back. I feel like the Scar is a little underwhelming. I feel like it used to be a lot better, but now I feel like I miss a lot more shots with the Scar. And generally, I just don't like the FAMAS at all. I know that's unpopular, but I don't really like how it fires. I don't like the sound. I don't hate the gun model. I just don't really like it. I don't know. Maybe that's just a me thing. So I typically just find myself picking up the Scar instead. But that's okay because we also got one of, in my opinion, my favorite red dot that we've ever gotten in Fortnite, and that is the Red Eye Assault Rifle. I absolutely love this thing. The Red Eye Assault Rifle was a great addition to the assault rifles to the game. It's not very OP. It actually requires skill to use. And in general, I just find myself using it a lot more and winning more fights while using the Red Eye. That might just be a me thing. Maybe I'm just built different. I don't know. But I have talked to two different types of players, PC players and controller players. where like I've noticed the controller players typically would pick up like a Scar or a FAMAS and they think the Red Eye is not that good. PC players absolutely adore the Red Eye and they think that the Red Eye is like the best AR in the game right now, and that's exactly where I stand. I think the Red Eye is phenomenal. But at the end of the day, I feel like it just comes down to preference. That's what this whole loophole was like this season. It was for the guns. It all came down to your own personal preference and all that. We also got the Oathbound weapons and items and such, and I feel like the only good one was the Shockwave Hammer. I honestly, now that we're at the end of the season, pretty much, I feel like the Shockwave Hammer is like the only Oathbound item I ever find myself using. I really only found myself using the Excalibur when snipers were not in the game and bows were in the game, and that's only because it kind of gave me that fix. You know, I love sniping. That is my favorite uh, fucking gun type in Fortnite. Like I absolutely adore sniping, and that goes for most shooters as well. But in general, I feel like this season struggled hardcore without those snipers. The bows are not a good replacement for snipers, and I've gone over this in the past. I generally don't like bows. That's just a me thing. But I've always liked snipers. I feel like they're really fair. You know, most people are not good at sniping. Sniping is something that you have to like be good at, like naturally. That or you just practice it and you just get good at it. If you're not good at sniping, then odds are you probably aren't going to be picking one up. That's just how it is. I fucking love sniping to death. It's one of my favorite methods of fighting in this game, so obviously I'm going to fall into the camp that absolutely adores snipers. In this whole season, we've gone without them, and the bows have been miserable. I've genuinely not really enjoyed playing the game just due to the fact that snipers aren't in the game. I know that's kind of a petty thing to say, but I generally feel that way. In general, snipers just need to be in the game. I think the season struggled from a content drought. I am not going to lie to you when I say that Winterfest was really bad this year. I really did not like Winterfest. I think a lot of you guys know that. I feel like the season started to struggle around then. Epic Games launched the season and then immediately went on a break right after, and I feel like that just created more problems than solutions to a lot of the issues. There was a lot of bugs in the season, and thankfully a large majority of them have been ironed out, but there are still a handful of bugs that are kind of tarnishing the game a little bit. So I don't know. I just feel like the bugs are not they're not good. They need to do something about them. You know, hurdling is still not in the game. It was in the game for maybe like 2 weeks before they ended up removing it due to a bug where you would just go flying. I don't know why it's not back yet, but I feel like it should be back at this point. Hopefully it comes back in the next update. There is another update. I don't know what it entails, but probably not all that much since by the time it comes out, there will be 2 weeks left in the season. So, yeah. In general, this season struggled in terms of just a lot of issues from Epic Games going on that one holiday break. I get it, you know, they need those breaks, but when you're going to launch a season and then immediately go on a break, I think that's an issue. They should really start considering launching a season a little bit earlier in advance, that way you can have time to iron out those issues and fix those bugs. That's just my opinion. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels this way, but in general, the season definitely struggled for a long time. I think the Most Wanted update absolutely fixed a lot of the issues. They brought back the Heavy Sniper, and again, the Heavy Sniper one-shots again. Thank you, Chapter 3, Season 4, goated season. I generally think, yeah, that is definitely something that boosted this season. I think all of the unvaults during the Most Wanted event helped the game more than it hurt it. Oh, I gotta talk about the collabs and stuff too eventually. You know, I feel like the season is really good right now. I do like the map. I want to make that clear. I do really like the Chapter 4 map. One of the big issues with it is that a lot of the POIs just are not very memorable. Like, I can maybe count 3 POIs that I'm going to remember, those 3 being Slappy Shores, Faulty Splits, and the Citadel. That's really it. You look at Inville Square and you look at Breakwater Bay, and they're just kind of the same. I don't know how to put it, man. It's just a little sad, you know. It's a little sad going from like Chapter 3 with actual memorable POIs to Chapter 4 with arguably some less memorable POIs, but the map itself is still really good. I think that the design is great. They kind of have like a more unique art style as opposed to Chapter 3, Chapter 2, Chapter 1, where they were all kind of similar. This one definitely feels different from the other few. So I don't think the map is bad, nor do I think it's an issue. What I think is an issue is just kind of the bugs and the raw gameplay and stuff. The Deku Smash was extremely overpowered for, I don't know, even how many weeks, but in general, the Deku Smash has been tweaked and stuff, and it's a lot less OP in its current state, and I'm actually okay with it being in the game. They did bring back the Kamehameha for a little bit. That was pretty cool. I feel like the season was pretty good for a Season 1. Do I think it stacks up to Chapter 3 Season 1? Not really. That was one of my favorite seasons, I think, ever. I think a lot of people absolutely love that season and what it did for Fortnite. In general, the season's definitely good for, like, zero build, and even builds to an extent, but I don't know, man. I think it might just be burnout, but this season just, it wasn't it for me, man. I don't hate it, though. I want to make it blatantly clear. When bows were in the game, it was pretty tough to play. In my opinion on it was pretty negative, but now that we have things like snipers and actual like good pistols and whatnot, well, I mean the attack pistol was always good, but I'm talking about just more variety. And I feel like the loot pool itself is just generally good right now. I feel like we're kind of at a point now where I can confidently say, yeah, the season's alright. I don't hate this season at all. I don't think it's the best season of all time. Theming wise, it's great. I do like medieval, like fantasy type stuff. That's one of my favorite kind of things ever, really. And generally speaking, I don't know. I just think this season was a mixed bag for me. I would put it on like a B tier season. I know I've definitely posted tier lists in the past where this was like low tier. I don't necessarily think that. I think I was just in a weird mindset during all that. I also tried to change my mindset this season so that way I could have a more positive mindset and a more positive outlook on seasons. I will say the season for a little while had me scared that it was going to end up being like Vibin, where there was not a lot of content and it was just kind of boring all around. But I think it definitely is ending off in a good spot. As long as in this next update they don't remove snipers, my opinion will stand true. I will ultimately probably say in my YouTube community, like, oh, why they remove snipers or something like that. If they do, I hope they don't, because snipers just make this game good, man. It just makes the game more fun. The bows are just, oh, I think it was the bows that honestly ruined a lot of it for me. I just don't like bows, man. They ruined Fortnite for me. That's just my opinion. Agree to disagree, all right? I would give this season, I think, taking everything into consideration, a solid 6 out of 10. It's not the best season of all time. It definitely did some good for Fortnite, and Zero Build definitely has shined for a large majority of this season. But I think that just in general, this season had a lot going for it, and you know, a lot of it did work, but then there was a lot that didn't work, and there was a lot of stuff that got removed, such as augments and items and mechanics, and we still have yet to see hurdling return to the game, which is, I don't know, it's just unfortunate. Let me know what y'all guys thought about the season. It was just okay to me. I kind of still miss Chapter 3, but I know that's only a me thing. That's going to be it for this video. You can hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed it. I would really appreciate it. It takes like 2 seconds and you don't even have to watch all my videos. It's just a little thing and it would help me grow as a YouTuber and just kind of grow in general. And you can leave a like if you did enjoy the video. You leave a dislike if you didn't enjoy it. You know, I don't care. It gives me feedback on stuff, I guess. Anyways, that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I already said that. See ya.